Okay, so guys, we got a little conversation we gotta have, little talking to do here. So obviously, Akira Toriyama passed away recently. His death was announced last Friday, and I think he had died maybe a week prior. And I guess I just wanted to talk about it for a little bit because Akira Toriyama, like, not only is he like one of my favorite creators of all time, um, he is he's instrumental in just my career happening, you know? Like Dragon Ball Z was not my first video, but Dragon Ball absolutely inspired what was my first video and all the media I fell in love with when like I was a teenager, including Dragon Ball Z. Like I fuck man, I remember. Do you know the first episode of Dragon Ball Z I ever saw? It was Goku cutting Frieza in half with the energy disc. And it was just playing on Cartoon Network in the middle of the day. I was at my parents' friend's house, and I just like gone into a side room to watch some TV because they had Sky Plus and I didn't have Sky Plus and I had all the channels. And I happened onto Cartoon Network, which was playing Dragon Ball Z. And the moment I turned onto it, it was Goku versus Frieza, and Frieza gets cut in half with the energy disc. And I remember looking at it and being like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is so weird and crazy and just so different from anything else, you know? And in a lot of ways, that was like the beginning for me. That was up until then, like, I had seen Akira way too young. I had seen different pieces of different pieces of media, but that was the start of anime becoming like a consistent part of my life. I completely fell in love with Dragon Ball. I would get my friends, we didn't have like the expensive channels, so I'd get my friends to like record them on videotapes, and I would just watch them on repeat. I would go to my friend's house 5 o'clock every day. We'd watch the episode of Dragon Ball from the day before, and then we'd watch today's episode. And we fucking loved it. I then remember one time me and my parents went on holidays, and it was the same thing. They were replaying the Android Saga, and every day I'd come in soaked from the pool, I'd sit on the couch, I'd watch the Android Saga, and I loved it so fucking much. I really, really did. It's hard to pick a favorite fictional character of all time, but to me, I think like it's probably Vegeta. I Vegeta or Guts, but I Vegeta was the I think I don't know. It's like he's just this person who has so much pride and so much purpose, and he's always getting his fucking head kicked in, and he comes back and he keeps going, and God, I fucking love that. Like I can't tell you how much of like martial arts and getting in shape and all that kind of stuff was just influenced from watching them, like watching the Vegeta training in the hypergravity chamber, and the episode where he goes Super Saiyan. Like, personally, Dragon Ball had such a fucking massive influence on my life, just such a massive influence on my taste in pop culture. And it's crazy, right? Because like this is insane to think of now. When I first started making videos on the internet, there was like this attitude that Dragon Ball was like a scrub anime. That Dragon Ball had a very similar reputation as like Sword Art Online did. Like it was really fashionable to make fun of Dragon Ball. And I doubt I was like the first person to make like a long form video essay about shonen stuff, but like no one was making that shit back then. And I always like people were making it at about like different anime, like stuff like Digibro, and like the Digibro channel was like doing stuff, but like even then it was rare that they'd cover like it's rare that she'd cover like you know shonen. She might do like a episode of Hunter x Hunter or stuff like that, but it was never like a long form thing about Dragon Ball. And so like one of the first things I wanted to do was make long form videos about shonen anime because I just felt like that shit didn't exist and I wanted it to. Like that is the biggest reason I got into doing YouTube. And it's fucking crazy to think because like not only like did Toriyama make the thing that made me fall in love with like anime on a consistent basis, he made the thing that inspired everything else that started me making YouTube videos. Like when I say that his effect on the world is so massive and profound that like that stream we just did wouldn't have fucking happened. Like that probably I probably would still be working in animation or something, you know? And it's weird, you know, because like I genuinely feel like I can't think of a single artist that transformed the industry around them more than Toriyama. Like he was just this incredibly monumental occurrence in shonen. And shonen existed before Toriyama. Like there's a bunch of stuff like you can look at, you know, Kinnikuman or Saint Seiya or like all this stuff. But I feel like he's the person who designed the modern lexicon of shonen that everything else is still reading from. And I think because of that, you just see him as like this immortal fucking entity. You know, you see him as just this thing that can't die because he's had too big an effect on the world. You know, it's like a fucking mountain dying or something. And then he does because he was just a human, you know, he was just a person. For as like monumentally as he transformed everything, he was just a guy, you know. And there's something really there's something about that like really makes you think about your own shit and like I don't want to get too bleak, but like if someone that monumental can end, we all can. Everything does, you know? So man, like he really had such a massive impact on like not just like not any one facet of it, but like culture in general. Like Goku, you know, like fucking Goku, Fortnite's Goku. But like Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest, like Jesus Christ, it's like an infinite reach he had. I don't think there's no single artist I can think of that is that influence. Like, say, there's artists that are better known. Like, you could say, like, fucking Taylor Swift is better known than Toriyama, right? Easily. But, like, is she as influential? Like, will she affect culture in the same way that he did? And I don't think she will. I don't think anyone does. And that's not a slight on Taylor, for the record. I enjoy myself some Blank Spaces. What a fantastic song. And it's like, you know, in so many ways, like, we're still kind of living in his world. He is a man who monumentally changed the landscape of popular culture. And you just don't think that he could die. Um, and it's fucking crazy that he did. And it's crazy and it's tragic in a different way to someone like Miura, because Miura did not get to finish his story, and you know that is tragic in a way that I am still processing. But then with Toriyama, you look at him and you're like, there's a man who did it as hard as anyone ever could. Like, in terms of succeeding in your field, no one will ever do it harder than Toriyama. He is as monumental and important to, you know, the landscape of anime and manga as the fucking ocean is to the planet, you know? And it's hard because, like, you know there's going to be more Dragon Ball movies, you know there's going to be more, like, games based on his stuff, but he's not going to be a part of them anymore. And it makes me real excited for the next Dragon Quest, because it's like that game was far along in production. I'm going to assume that like a lot of his work was done on it, and we're going to see his designs. You know, we're going to see the last of what he did, and there's going to be a real bittersweet element to that. It's crazy, like it is fucking crazy. But it's like, you know, obviously I never met Toriyama, or like I never had anything to do with him personally. But Jesus Christ, like, talk about someone who had a genuinely profound effect on the direction of my life, and I will always be so thankful of that. So thankful to that dude, because my fucking god, he made something that mattered in every way it could. And I think that's about all I gotta say. There is a very particular way I wanted to salute Toriyama on this stream. Yeah, like, okay, air to Twitch. His works opened up anime to America hugely. Massively so. You look at, like, different cultures and their reverence from Goku. My parents are on holiday in Argentina, and they were saying there's like a day of mourning for Toriyama in Argentina. There's, like, all these tributes and all this shit, you know? And it's incredible. It's incredible. And, like, you know, like, if you ever read Gita Jackson's article on like, you know, what, like, Goku meant to, like, black men, fucking, it was so much. But anyway, there's a very particular way I wanted to salute Toriyama on this stream. There's a video that we watch here every couple of months, and I think to some people this might even seem like a little, I don't know, like, disrespectful. It is not. It genuinely is not. But there's an AMV, my favorite Dragon Ball Z AMV, that I have watched maybe 200 times, called Vegeta's Sacrifice. And as silly as it is, I think I just got to watch it on stream. It's the Vegeta AMV, you know? And it's silly, but it just feels right, you know? Fuck it. Let's turn it on. 240p, baby. Perfect. Okay. Look at that. Just beautiful.
I awoke one day to find that I had settled down, formed a family. I had even grown quite fond of them.
240p as God intended. Chat, I don't even fucking care. There is something so magical about this AMV. I love it so much. When I really think back to, like, what Dragon Ball Z was, like, to me as a teenager, fuck, there are few pieces of media I have been that in love with. Lazarus of Gnome, man, this just hits the feels hard. Guys, I'm like getting proper emotional watching this. Like, I haven't watched this since Toriyama died. And fuck, it's all coming back, chat. Prodigy, DBZ is in some way responsible for every Jack dude aged 25 to 40, 100%. Fuck, man, Jesus. Thank you, dbzwarriors.com. So yeah, chat. We lost a great one, you know. I guess, like, just final thing I want to say is just to express the absolute most gratitude I can to Toriyama. Like, just a fucking complete legend in every definition of the world. And, like, you know, I could have a long, long time on this earth and I would never be able to pay back, you know, everything he did. And I think a lot of people feel this way. So yeah, rest in peace, Toriyama. Love you. Thank you for everything. Chat, that's gonna do it. Love you guys. See you next week.